Breaking news that's coming in right now. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson meets S. Jaishankar. S. Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister, tweets after the meeting with the UK Prime Minister. He says discussed India-UK Roadmap 2030. So that's a picture from that meeting that External Affairs Minister had with UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, where he called on him in New Delhi. My colleague Kamaljit Sandhu is joining me live from Delhi. Kamaljit, that is of course the meeting that has taken place between the External Affairs Minister and UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. He says that they discussed the India-UK Roadmap 2030, but of course the big meeting awaited now between Prime Minister Modi and UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and what can be expected from it?
Well, in some time from now, we can expect Boris Johnson to reach Hyderabad House. That is where the real nitty-gritty will really happen. Now, £1 billion pounds worth of commercial deals, but we also know as far as collaborations are concerned, whether it's economic, security and defense will be crucial, especially in the 5 domains, which is air, land, sea, cyber and as far as space is concerned. Remember, there's going to be a hydrogen hub which is going to be created. There are also talk about fighter jets, collaboration as far as giving of technology is concerned. So yes, when it boils down to business, this is a lot more meat on the table now, if I can say so, as far as Prime Minister Narendra Modi is concerned and Boris Johnson is concerned. They'll obviously thrash out deals which will be beneficial to both the countries, also generating employment for both the countries. There is also talk about how there will be a clean source of energy, £75 million worth of technology deal. Both has been something which is dedicated.
I'll have to interrupt you for for a second, because we're getting those live pictures right now coming in from Hyderabad House. Prime Minister Narendra Modi there greeting UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who's just arrived at the Hyderabad House. That bilateral meeting between the two leaders is expected to begin very shortly. We're expecting press statements and the signing of MOUs as well a little later today. But that is going to be the highlight of Boris Johnson's two-day visit, maiden visit to India. Earlier, of course, those are pictures from earlier where he did in fact lay a wreath in tribute to Mahatma Gandhi. He was at the Samadhi and he was earlier accorded a ceremonial welcome at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Those are pictures from Hyderabad House. Kamaljit, please continue.
Well, there has been a huge connect, especially he's been overwhelmed with his tour to Gujarat, saying he's highly honored. But yes, he also went to Sabarmati Ashram. You were there on spot to cover that. Then today he did lay a wreath at the Gandhi Samadhi. So that connection very much there. But as I told you, from 11:30 onwards, it gets down to business or work. Both India and UK as partners, especially in different platforms, whether it's economics, social, security, as well as defense. These are various sectors which both are going to concentrate on. There is also the free trade agreement where there are 22 pointers. Each of them have to be thrashed out. No word on that yet. There are other issues, for instance, extradition of important persons, especially Vijay Mallya. Then we're also looking at the Khalistani element. We do not know whether this is going to be brought up. We spoke to the MEA yesterday. On record, they said this is something they'll have to wait and watch whether this is brought to the fore. But it's something which India has consistently brought up before notice of UK. But meanwhile, in a world which is looking post-COVID, we're looking at not only having collaborating deals with equal partners, but also growing not just franchise, but also business. This is going to be a win-win deal when we're talking about £1 billion worth of commercial deals. We're talking about security deals, which includes fighter jets, which includes bringing in technology. Especially UK is very keen to collaborate on Make in India technology, where they can actually help India perform much better. So all these are nitty-gritties, and this will obviously, we've been told Boris Johnson has also met Gautam Adani. He's also brought in a delegation. A final word on that is awaited. But yes, as far as the economies are concerned, this is going to be a key area of interest because remember, India is the second most investor or the second highest investor as far as UK is concerned. We have highest number of students who are studying in UK. There is a liberal visa regime which has been adopted in particular for that. So this is not just going to be a one-sided deal. There is going to be a back and forth as far as this is concerned. India an equal of the partner, and yes, keeping in mind the global situation, Ukraine has been in discussion. Also keeping in mind that as far as this entire thing is concerned, they have said they respect India's neutral stance as far as Moscow is concerned. They understand how India has taken that particular stance. But again, talking about the global security scenario, also taking a keen interest in the Asia-Pacific region where China is a big player.
Absolutely, absolutely. So those are visuals, of course, coming in from Hyderabad House, where that meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has just begun. Kamaljit, Sandhu, they're reporting live for us, giving us a sense of what could be the big talking points in that meeting between the two leaders. Remember that it has been that in the past that they did try to meet a couple of times. Boris Johnson was in fact scheduled to visit India, but because of the pandemic situation, first in the United Kingdom and then in India, his trip got postponed. There was a virtual summit between the two leaders where they of course chalked out the India-UK roadmap 2030 as well in 2021. But finally, Boris Johnson making his maiden India visit as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom in 2022. Kamaljit, also big investments that were announced as well and big commercial deals, like you said, that were announced by the British High Commission yesterday during Boris Johnson's visit to Gujarat as well. What are the big takeaways that the British are looking for as far as this bilateral meeting is concerned? We can see that they're placing a lot of high value to this meeting. They're constantly saying that they're seeking India's partnership and Indo-UK partnership extremely crucial given the global security scenario, and of course what they say for peace and security given the steps which they say have been taken by certain autocratic states. So what are the British looking for in terms of India's role and India's cooperation, Kamaljit?
Well, India is an important player as far as the global scenario is concerned, and that is why we've seen in the past few days several of the big wigs, especially dignitaries who have been flying, whether it's the Russian Foreign Minister, Lavrov, whether it is the Deputy NSA as far as USA is concerned. So we've seen now Boris Johnson making its way. They all know about how India has taken that particular stance, which is considered extremely neutral. This at a point of time where West has been trying to pressurize India to take a stance which is pro-NATO. This is obviously to take a stance against Russia, which India has not done because obviously India is looking at its own interests. But meanwhile, when we're talking about bilaterals, this is where it boils down between both the countries. Now, we've seen how Boris Johnson is here on a special invite. Earlier, the meeting got delayed because of the COVID situation. And now that he's here, this is obviously, they're talking about big on economy. We saw him at the JCB plant yesterday. Those visuals now going viral. He's been meeting Gautam Adani. He's been meeting other businessmen. This is obviously something that he would want to take in a big way back home, especially because in the wake of criticism and several of their own MPs now demanding Boris Johnson's resignation, keeping in mind the violation during the COVID norms. But when it comes to India, he's looking at a big takeaway, and so is India, because this is a partnership which goes way long back. This is where British also ruled India, and since they've gone back, this is a time where India is an equal partner of equal, and we are a big investor as far as UK is concerned. We are looking at big economic deals. We are looking at commercial deals with UK. This is going to be beneficial if it provides employment. Remember, there have been branches which have been going to be opened in Chennai, in several other locations in India. They are also looking at the Indian businessmen who will be investing in UK, also to ensure that they're getting a meteor chunk of all those students who want to go to UK to study, and that is where they want also the skilled people from India. That is a very high value target as far as UK is concerned. They're also looking at the defense deals as far as fighter jets are concerned, technology is concerned. Now we know that there is the Rafale deal with France. There have been deals going on with Russia. So UK is very keen that they come on board as far as the defense sector is concerned, also on the security collaborations. And that is where India is also going to push through for demands on extradition or for demands that they act on Khalistani elements, especially if there are any anti-India elements and activities
Absolutely. It remains to be seen if in fact India brings that up in the meeting with Boris Johnson. That of course is happening right now. Prime Minister Modi meeting with UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. This is the big highlight of Boris Johnson's maiden two-day visit to India. We are expecting a joint press statement a little later today, and also the signing of some MOUs as well. Kamaljit, Sandhu will be keeping an eye on those developments.